measuring stick just changed around here, buddy. You're looking at it.
You are now listening to the Outsiders Podcast, the most exciting and hard-hitting show on the net. And now, bringing it hard as always on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL, here are your hosts, Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger.
Welcome, everyone, to the Outsiders Podcast, following Chiefs Broncos, following an NFL Sunday, following a crazy weekend in sports. Glad to have you.
Moral Victory Monday!
Moral Victory Monday?
Gotta love it.
You gotta be kidding me.
17-9 against the Broncos. Everyone was predicting a blowout, and we get the big moral victory, losing by 8.
Hey, Romeo Crennel's got to be loving that right now. He'll take that to the bank.
Oh, definitely, if he even knows what that is. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Chiefs were competitive. I don't think Denver, it seemed like a game that Denver was just not quite ever really ready to show up for. They started slow. The Chiefs had a 6-0 lead early in the game, but of course, just the talent of Denver came back. Peyton Manning finally got on track. Kansas City, of course, not really playing for wins, just playing for field goals, and you cannot beat Peyton Manning with field goals. So many times they could have went for it on 4th and short. Just not to be. Let's kick our field goals and punt the ball, baby.
I know, we were next to the goal line. I think we were on the 2-yard line. It was 4th and goal. Go for it, man. We could have gone up 10-0 there. Instead, we go up 6-0. You cannot kick field goals against Peyton Manning. He is going to strike, and that's exactly what he did.
You know who would know that information more than anybody, maybe on planet Earth? Scott Pioli and Romeo Crennel. You figure would have known that.
No, I think it's just me and you.
Oh,
just
maybe.
Me and you. Yeah.
I mean, you figure the years they played against in New England against the Peyton Manning and the Colts, so they might have had some insight.
That and the fact that Romeo's been a coach in the NFL for 35-plus years.
No, just a bumbling fool. That's all we can expect. Okay, someone who's not a bumbling fool, Sean Salsbury is going to come on the show here in a little bit to help break down the NFL, break down the draft, break down the Chiefs. I cannot wait because I'll tell you, I'll just be honest, Sean is my favorite NFL/sports personality of all time. Of course, former ESPN analyst, he's just the best to me. I love
yes,
the guy.
him and Bill Moss, I absolutely love them. They are my top two. Sean always brings it. He's not going to hold back. You have got to listen to this. I can't wait to get him on the line.
I know. We're going to have to ask him because a lot of people talking, of course, this quarterback thing with the Chiefs going back and forth. Do we draft a quarterback? Do we draft Teo or Jarvis Jones? We're going to flat out ask him, and we'll see if Sean agrees with us with regards to this quarterback thing, or he agrees with some of you guys that want to take the linebacker and maybe wait on the quarterback. We'll see because, tell you what, nobody's going to know like Sean knows. He's the best.
Oh, he is. And getting back to this Chiefs-Broncos game, one thing I was happy about, other than the big, huge moral victory we got, was the team coming out fast. It looked like Sean Drawn, Dexter McCluster, the whole team was just playing at a different speed that they have the first 10 games. It just looked amazing out there.
Yeah, it looked different. It looked like a team that was I'll tell you what, the offensive line played well without some starters in there. Of course, no Ryan Lilja, and I thought
no Brandon Albert.
With regards to the rookies, of course, there were some penalties with regards to Stevenson and Jeff Allen. But I like what they brought. I think that might have been Pioli's 2 best draft picks of the era.
Yeah, they were opening up huge holes for Charles. I mean, and Charles was hitting him full speed. I really liked what I was seeing. Unfortunately, we don't have the quarterback to compete.
Well, I thought Brady Quinn, I think, kept us in the game. And let me tell you what I mean by that. He's not a good quarterback. He's not a talented guy. He can't win you games. But he didn't make the Matt Castle inexplicable game-changing turnovers, and I think that did keep us in the game. And he did start 13 of 15, of course, faded after that. And was
for like 120 yards.
Yeah,
come on,
short passes.
Nothing.
They didn't let him open it up much. He's a good guy. I like Brady. I wish he was good at football. That's it.
Made a great pass to Jamar Newsome in the corner of the end zone. We were talking about that earlier today, and Jamar just couldn't hold on to it, just coming off the practice squad, not quite ready to make a huge play for this team.
Well, I think Denver, even though they kind of struggled through this game, this is a team that I think is hitting their stride. Peyton Manning. Noah, you called this, and I want to give you credit for that. This division was over last spring. As soon as Peyton Manning signed with Denver, we should have known it was over.
Yeah, I didn't know how his neck would do. The ball looked kind of wobbly, but even though his ball is wobbly, it gets to the target on target, in stride, perfect almost every time.
Who wants that? Who wants a perfectly accurate, wonderfully armed quarterback?
All you have to do is look at that Demaryius Thomas touchdown. Jaleel Brown had perfect coverage, right in the breadbasket, nothing Jaleel could do, touchdown, Broncos.
And that was the game.
That was.
Yeah, Manny made some big throws to Brandon Stokely, who is a slow, old receiver, and he just makes him look amazing because he puts the ball right where he needs to. We've been talking about this, too. If Peyton Manning had come to Kansas City, of course, he didn't return any of our phone calls, didn't want to come here, don't blame him. But had the deal happened, he's a Chief. What's the Chiefs' record right now?
Funny enough, I think our record would be very good. I think maybe we'd have 3-4 losses at this point.
I agree.
Romeo is a horrible head coach, but I think Peyton Manning would be the head coach. He'd say when to go for timeouts. He'd say when to go for it on fourth down. He would basically run this team. Brian Daboll would just be window dressing. He would not be calling any kind of plays. Maybe Peyton Manning would just relieve him of his duties.
Yeah, and I think they brought it up on the broadcast on Sunday, talking about Peyton Manning and the weapons the Chiefs have at receiver and what he could do with guys like Baldwin, who's just non-existent in this offense, and Bo, who has been has disappeared as well with not out a quarterback to get it to him.
And how about Tony Moeaki? We finally got to see a little bit from him with Brady Quinn in there. He got him the ball, looked nice. Unfortunately, after his 13 for 15 start, Brady went 0 for 10, I believe, ended up 13 of 25 for the day.
He showed you why he's not a starting quarterback in this league. I wish he was. I wish he was an answer. But if he was an answer, he wouldn't be a Chief right now. He'd be starting back in Cleveland where they drafted him. So
exactly.
We're going to have to move on from that. You're going to have to go for a quarterback. We're going to be talking about the NFL, about some other happenings in sports this past weekend. Of course, Notre Dame vaults back into the number one spot in the BCS. They will play for the championship against the winner of Georgia and Alabama. We're going to be talking about that. But first, it's our pleasure to bring on Sean Salisbury. I cannot wait to talk to this guy because Sean knows. And we are currently joined by former NFL quarterback. Yes, John Clayton, he did play quarterback, and also former ESPN analyst, Sean Salsbury. Sean, thanks for joining us. How are you doing here? A crazy weekend of football, and gosh, the season just keeps getting away from us, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it. It's been fun. It's been unique on both college and the NFL, which I think I love college football more than the NFL, but a lot of strange changes and a lot of impact. But all is well, and we've got some great excitement, and this is a great time of year considering late November and December where champions start to be made, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, things are really starting to take shape, and we've been breaking down, of course, Chiefs and Broncos, and I know you've been on several radio stations here in the Kansas City area. Just kind of give us your take as far as this Kansas City Chiefs team goes. They're 1-10. It's kind of silly to start talking X's and O's about the Chiefs-Broncos game itself, but what is going on here in Kansas City from your point of view, Sean?
Well, I think that, the difference between the best team and the worst team in the league is probably 3 players and 8 or 9 plays or 6 plays a game. It really isn't. When the Cleveland Browns can step up and beat Cleveland, and that's Roethlisberger out, so you say, dang, Cleveland's not that far off. Jacksonville's played better with the quarterback. So as far as the Chiefs go, you know what? I think it's a team that has got some youthful talent and speed. But it's odd. We can sit here, and I've covered X's and O's every week in Kansas City about the team, and sometimes fans don't want to hear it. I think that they have, first and foremost, I don't blame it just on this position, but we give the position a lot of credit. They don't have a quarterback on their roster. Their roster is filled with backups at that position. And I hate to say it, I love Matt. He's an SC guy. I'm an SC guy. Brady Quinn's not a starter. Brady Quinn's a backup at best. Matt Castle's a sometimes starter and can service it, but he's a guy comes off the bench. There's not a starting quarterback or a guy worthy of carrying a franchise and being that guy on the roster. Their starting quarterback at 213 is not on that roster right now. I can assure you of that. So it starts there. I like Romeo Crennel. I think he's a wonderful assistant coach, but I don't think that there's a lot of fear factor. I don't think it's oh my gosh, the coach called me up to his office. Man alive, what's he going to tell me? Because it seems to me they'll waltz up to the office, and it's really not that big a deal. And I don't like that either. If Bill Belichick calls you into your office, you're going to have to scared to death walking into it. and as much as I like Romeo Crennel as a person and think he's a hell of an assistant coach, you've got to demand and command respect. And the truth is, you really don't have to demand it. If you command it, you don't even have to talk about it. And I'm not sure that football team understands that. It's a team that they can run it. They can't throw up. It's as competition there's better college teams that throw it far better than this. I mean, Geno Smith could start for that team tomorrow. Barkley could start for the team tomorrow. Johnny Football come up the interstate and probably play quarterback. It's not just on them. That's not fair. But I'm saying is that if you stop Jamal Charles, the Kansas City Chiefs cannot beat you. Absolutely cannot beat you unless you turn it over 6 times. So there's that missing. I'm trying to find out who the leader of the team is. And like I said, they've got some studs on defense that will come up and hit you. And I think eventually they're going to be even better. I think they can do it. But I don't see any physical domination. I don't see guys making plays when the game's on the line. I don't know if they've got their engine started and they're in the locker room ready to head home for their golf in January. Because I'm not in the guy's head. I'm not in their locker room. I never like to say a guy quit on me. But it sure doesn't look like a team that has a whole lot of enthusiasm to play. Now, people could say, I don't believe in moral victories. Keeping a game close means nothing to me. Absolutely means nothing to me because I don't believe there's a lose ugly or lose pretty category in the win-loss column. There's a win-loss and tie. There are no moral victories. This isn't everybody get a trophy in the 3rd grade. So I just, there's a lot wrong. And, I don't think the play caller is on the same page as the players on the offensive side. And there's no execution. It looks like a disinterested team. And to think that going into this season, the majority of prognosticators thought that the Kansas City Chiefs, and before Manning, even in the offseason, they said, depending on Manning's health, there's many who thought the Kansas City Chiefs were the favorite to win the division. I've never seen anything like a team that's dropped so far off the map. And the fans deserve better. Great place to play. Great place to be a fan. They deserve better. And the Kansas City Chiefs should offer free football the rest of the season, and maybe players give half their paycheck the way that they're not getting their money's worth. I can tell you that, and I don't think that Scott's doing the type of job that he's normally done in New England. I guess it goes to show you when you got Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, it's easy to win.
Yeah, definitely. Being a former quarterback and saying that you love college football as much as you do, the Chiefs seem to be headed to the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Who do you like the Chiefs to take? Who do you think is the quarterback for them?
There can be no decision. I mean, while I think there's some that really like Geno Smith because he's accurate, he's a big guy, got a great arm, powerful arm, can throw it. He went through a tough stage. But you're talking about the guys now, he's not even in the Heisman Trophy talk, and he's thrown, 40 touchdowns and 5 or 6 picks. But I've seen him, he's really accurate throwing the ball down the field. But I don't think anybody's going to make him the number 1 pick. It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no. Unless you could plan on trading for some big-time free agent quarterback in the offseason, something like maybe because of Russell Wilson or the Seattle Seahawks willing to give Matt Flynn away. I don't know yet. Then are you going to say, well, is Matt Flynn going to end up Matt Cal backup that we paid too much money to? That can he play? We've seen glimpses, just like we've seen with Matt, that he can play. But to be able to sustain it, so we don't know about Flynn. So where do you go? Where do you go? Is Alex Smith the answer? Because he's not going to be in San Francisco anymore, I wouldn't think, because he's got a big bonus coming to him, I believe, in March. And I think that's been squelched by Jim Harbaugh. The Kaepernick's their future, so you'd want to be Alex Smith out. Is he a guy? I thought he was improving and would have been. I think he still gives them the best chance to win in the long run this year. Maybe not 3 years from now, but this year because of the mental side of it. But so it's a no-brainer. I mean, you got to have a franchise. Look around. 5 rookies starting this year. The aberration is when great defense wins a Super Bowl. But if in this day and age, if you don't have Eli Manning or Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or Ben Roethlisberger or Tom Brady, Robert Griffin, look what Griffin and Luck have done to their franchises. And even though Matt Barkley didn't have the year that we expected, and he turns the ball over, it's called supply and demand, my friend. And you have absolutely no choice but to draft Matt Barkley unless you actually think that you can go get somebody that can hold down the fort. You've got to have a ticket mover, a needle mover, and a football player quarterback. And I don't think there's any question in your mind who the pick is. It's a no-brainer. And you know what? If I'm Barkley, I'd like to go there. Some good young talent and a hell of a fan base. I love them. Who wouldn't want to play there? But I think you're going to see a lot of changes. But you've got to draft a quarterback. If you don't, then maybe your football IQ needs checked at the door.
Of course, the question that's going to come from that is, do you allow Scott Pioli and this regime to draft that quarterback and to take these steps forward? Or in your opinion, seeing how the fans have been blacking out Arrowhead, all these movements, do you think this regime possibly in Kansas City survives this nonsense of the year?
Well, executive of the year, so the guy knows how to draft people, you'd think. But like I said, there's got to be a foundation, and I think he thought he had something better. So if you go with Scott and get rid of him, you know the coach is gone. And even though Scott and Roby don't have a relationship from New England and know each other, he may be gone. He may be gone anyway. 1 and 10's hard. We saw Cam Cameron go through this, sign him for a year, boom, gone. Romeo's been there, the interim coach, and then now this year, I guess it was, and I don't remember when he took over. But now you're looking at what is this Roman second year? I'm losing my mind halfway through. When did they fire Todd?
Oh, with 3 games left in the season. So
there you go. So he took over the lab there. I didn't know if it was 5 or 6 games. So 3 games in the season. So, but what have he done for me lately? I don't expect the group to be there. I just don't. I don't expect the group to be there. But if it is there, if this regime, and the truth is, while I love the fans, if you're a front office guy and you're listening to fans' opinion on your football team, then you're dumb. If you're a head coach and fan, not that fans don't know, but that's when you get rabbit ears and start, oh, they're booing, maybe I should run a play call that you don't believe in. Fans cannot dictate your football team. Now, they don't have to show up. I don't blame them. Hell, I wouldn't go to the product this year either. But what I'm saying is, as a coach, there's got to be just like a father-son relationship where he's not my best friend. I'm his dad first and his friend second if I'm the dad to my kids. It's just like this. I can't let the fans dictate my franchise. I've got to draft the people that I know are best, that I've studied, that I've done tremendous amount of work for, and looking at tape and doing all the things and interviews to draft them. But if this team doesn't get a quarterback first and foremost, then they're not going to win. They absolutely have no chance in hell of getting anywhere with as starting quarterbacks. You know, you want to keep Matt as a high-priced backup, I get it. And Brady Quinn's not a starter in this league. He wasn't a starter when he left Notre Dame. He wasn't a starter in Cleveland. He wasn't a starter in Denver. He's barely a backup. And I like Brady. It's nothing personal. He just, quite frankly, once you get by about the 16th, 17th quarterback in this league, the starters are average at best. And when you got about 3 or 4 backups you can trust in the league, and about 28 of them that you can't. They can't win for you unless it's a 1 or 2 games. If you have to keep them sustained, they can't win for you. So, and that case with a lot of teams in this league. But it's a quarterback league. It's a flat-out quarterback league. Don't do that, then the Kansas City Chiefs are absolutely ignorant and have no clue, and fans deserve better. But you cannot allow fans to dictate who you draft. That's called homework and doing your job. That's why you get paid. Players get paid to make plays, and coaches get paid to coach. And evaluators need to scout and do it right, from scouting staff to general manager to a coach's input. You got to do all that. So, and apparently they haven't done it well, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Yet you look at it and you say, pretty good, decent up front. Got Bo, got Jamal Charles, McCluster. I mean, got some playmakers, you think. Eric Berry on defense. I mean, Tom Baha, they got some players. But the parts are far better than the sum, and they've got to do something about it, or this won't be the first time you're drafted it won't be the last time you're drafted in the first 5 picks. Trust me.
I wanted to get your thoughts on Aaron Murray. Tony Dungy recently came out saying that he spent a lot of time with Aaron Murray and his family, and he hasn't seen a quarterback work this hard at his craft since Peyton Manning.
I think that Aaron Murray is going to be sneaky good. He hasn't had the monster season numbers-wise. You know what's interesting? He's the first quarterback in SEC history to have 3,000-yard seasons in a row. And Peyton Manning played for Tennessee and came up a couple yards short as a sophomore. So that's something. Murray's smart, underrated feet. A study I've watched majority of his throws the last 2 years. He's accurate. He's tough. And he can overcome some adversity, which I don't judge quarterbacks on numbers. I judge how they do when they're getting their ass kicked. That's how I judge them. I judge how they're doing when they're 7 out of 24 and they're getting knocked in the teeth. And as Dan Fouts once told me, I asked him what leadership was, and he said it's a quarterback who puts his back foot in the ground when pressure's on and takes a shot to the chin and delivers the football. And it's nothing else. Leadership is nothing more than that as a quarterback, to get the respect of your own people and the linemen and your teammates. So, and Murray will do that. So, I think there's going to be people who, production-wise and lack of interceptions, they're going to like Murray maybe more than Barkley. But I don't think he's going to be the first pick of the draft. But you get him somewhere, and the kid's a player. I believe that. I believe he's a player, not flashy, but solid. And Tony, we all know how hard Peyton works. And I trust Tony Dunn. I've known Peyton a long time, and I know with Tony how the preparation he puts into it. If Aaron Murray's 70% of Peyton Manning, divisional side that separates great quarterbacks from good ones. Not they all can throw. I mean, you got arms, people can throw. You know, it's big bodies. I've seen a lot of 6'5" stiffs too. So if he studies and goes at his craft the way Manning goes, is even close, Aaron Murray will have success. And then it comes down to which team you get drafted by and who's good around you. But the Murrays and the Barkleys are going to go to some teams that aren't very good. We saw Ben Roethlisberger get taken, 11th or 12th in his job. What a bonus it was for him to go to the Steelers because they know how to retool quickly. So not getting picked first was a blessing for Roethlisberger because he could have gone to some bad team. So, you know, Murray's a player, underrated player, doesn't get a lot of national talk other than George is good. But even then, Todd Gurley, the running back, getting the talk. Aaron Murray is the reason that football team will be in the national title game if they beat Alabama. If he plays poorly, they can't win. They can't beat Alabama. If he plays great, they will have a chance. You saw a great quarterback in Menzel, he's a great college quarterback, play lights out, and Alabama couldn't take it. And it could be the same if Georgia gets one from Aaron Murray, that type of play this weekend.
Sean, you brought up Peyton Manning and keeping it here in the division with the Denver Broncos. Do you feel like Manning and the Broncos are hitting their stride right now despite having a tough time at Arrowhead? Do you feel like they're ready to compete maybe with Baltimore and New England for the conference here as we get down to playoff time?
Well, there's no question in my mind. As long as you got number 18, you're always alive. He may have an MVP, which would be his fifth. Number 2, he plays with Baltimore. Hell, I'm not sure Baltimore if the quarterback is playing great. I know they're good, but you know they give us some hits on the run, and the race not for him. I mean, Denver can play with Baltimore. No question in my mind, they can play with the Texans. And regardless against Kansas City, good teams win ugly. I'd rather have an ugly win than a pretty loss. And the Dallas Cowboys are the prettiest losers on the planet. They'll look good, throw up all kinds of numbers and stats, and you piss down their leg and lose a football game, or 8 of them. Okay, they're the worst team handling success there is in the league. But Peyton Manning keeps the team grounded. If you look how quickly those guys in Denver look like the guys in Indianapolis. They're on the same page audible-wise, making plays, everybody elevating their play. Great quarterbacks take ordinary and make it extraordinary. Make guys that are 5s into 8s. Manning does it. So, doggone right, they should run the table. They should win every one of their games, run the table, and be in position for home field advantage depending on what happens with the Texans, and a legitimate shot at the Super Bowl. You could very easily see a Harbaugh Super Bowl, and you could very easily see a Manning Super Bowl because the Giants were in perfect position at 6-4. Everybody questions them, and what do? Rear their head and play like they did. So I think they're going to be a Final Four team. I think they can beat Atlanta in a heartbeat. So, the Broncos are hitting their stride, and as long as Peyton Manning's standing upright, you got a chance to win because there's never been a more prepared guy at any position at any time that's ever played this game in the history of this game. And the guy prepares like he's an undrafted free agent trying to make a team, and that's why he's got this by the throat. And the Denver Broncos are in real good position and will be battle tested, but they can win ugly, and winning ugly is okay by me. Look at Notre Dame; they win ugly every week, and they're sitting on top of a chance to win a national title with an offense that's average and a team that you look at and you say, how are they doing this? They just keep doing it, and I'm okay with that.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this. We've heard a lot of Chiefs fans lately say that they want Manti Te'o or Jarvis Jones with the number 1 pick, and we'll just take a quarterback in the second round. What are your thoughts on that?
Could happen. When we were talking about that, that's the only thing about that is you're taking a risk. You say we can get our quarterback in the second round. What if Barkley goes second? Kansas City passes on him. Barkley goes second. Murray goes 8th. Geno Smith goes 14th. Then who? Now you got to. Well, the guy's got great potential, but he may be 3 years away. You got to draft the guy that can step off the team bus and start during minicamp. Robert Griffin III, Russell Wilson. Look what Whedon's done. Tannehill. They don't expect the first-round quarterback to wait. So if you think we can get our second-round guy, well, let me ask you this: who's going to touch the ball more the first year? Manti Te'o, Jarvis Jones, or Matt Barkley, or Aaron Murray, whoever you take? The quarterback's going to have it in his hand about 65 times a game. Now, if you're asking me if Jarvis Jones is worthy of the first pick of the draft, yeah, and you know what's ironic, which I hate for my USC Trojans, is Jones was there and left, and Te'o was going to go to USC, and they both left. And now, look, Georgia may be in the national title game. My Trojans play defense like Kansas City Chiefs play offense, and Te'o is going to possibly win the Heisman Trophy, and he may be playing against Jarvis Jones for the national title. Not both by us, you guys said there. And the guy that Oregon lost out the Pac-12 is now quarterback and may win the Heisman Trophy at A&M. Crazy stuff. But I do get, is Jarvis Jones worthy of the first pick? Damn right he is. And some people do like him because of Barkley's subpar, considering the turnovers and the way he played decision-wise. It could hurt him. He may fall to the fourth pick. But it also depends on who picks. I'm just saying, if you're Kansas City, can't you get a good linebacker in the second round? Now, if there's a great pass rusher, Jarvis Jones will get the quarterback, and he's one of them. If DeMarcus Ware's sitting there, I get it. But I don't ever see how you can pass up a guy you think's a franchise quarterback. But I do understand why Te'o, fine a young man as I've ever met in college, have you ever seen, great representative of what it's supposed to be like on and off the field, and a hell of a player, and great hands for a linebacker. And Jarvis Jones can run, play deep, rush the passer, play in space, or he can run down running back. So I get why people are saying that, would want it, especially people that are questioning if Barkley is worthy of the franchise label that did. And I've questioned it at times myself as a USC guy. Good luck and Robert Griffin have obviously established. So the bar's high, but if you're Kansas City, you better damn well be sure that Te'o and Jarvis Jones are going to make an impact on your football team. Because what that do? We still got a good defense. Who are they going to throw the ball on, guys? Where's their production on offense going to come from? Jarvis Jones, he may be better at quarterback. Hell, put him there. So I'm not sure, but you've got to be awful sure and awful judicious in your breakdown of what can impact your team now. Because I'm not worried about winning 5 years from now, guys. Never have been. Because in the NFL, if you don't win in a year or two, you're fucking buttermilk and you're out of a job. So if I'm the coach at Romeo or a new head coach, I want the guy who can make the biggest difference the fastest and impact me. And a lot of times, if Griffin or Luck are sitting out there, you want a guy like that. The question is, does Kansas City believe that Matt Barkley is that guy? And with the bad run on USC quarterbacks in the last decade, is Palmer kind of playing good and then get hurt, hadn't been the same. Leinart, Sanchez, that I hate to say it, but that could actually hurt him too.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, Sean, cannot thank you enough for being on today. Your insight is impeccable and the best in the business, if you ask me. Thanks so much for being on the Outsiders podcast today. We'll catch up with you soon. Maybe catch up with you around the playoffs and do some more dishing around then, my man. We really appreciate it.
Well, guys, if you're dumb enough to have me on again in the next week or so, I'd be happy to do it. Y'all come on anytime you want it. I love the people there, and you've been great to me the whole time, and I'm honored that you guys would pursue this and have me on. So anytime you want me on, just please let me know, and we'll do it, whether it's next Monday or 2 weeks, whenever. But it's always fun to be on. I appreciate you letting me give you the insight and try to fool you and pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
No, you're the man. We would love to have you on as often as you'd come on and with us. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch up with you soon, Sean. We really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Take care.
Absolutely amazing stuff from Sean Salsbury. I didn't want to hang up with the guy because I just wanted to keep asking him questions all night.
I know. I wanted to keep him on for 7 hours. Unfortunately, due to time restraints, we had to let him go. 20 minutes was great with the man. Oh,
unbelievable stuff. And you don't like to just say this. I mean, I agree with him on almost everything he said. I mean,
I know it's not sexy radio to agree with everything, but the man knows his stuff. He knows what he's talking about. Former ESPN analyst, former NFL quarterback. He just knows what he's talking about.
Really good stuff. He agrees with us definitely on the quarterback situation. Looks like he's calling for change out of the front office and the coaching staff. He's pretty much spot on. I mean, you guys, you want to talk about not drafting a quarterback? You can argue with that with us all you want. Try arguing with Sean. I don't think that's going to turn out too well for you. You lose. So
yeah, you
quarterback
take
it
that
is.
Franchise guy.
Now, who is it going to be? Because you talked to him a great deal about Aaron Murray. He seems to like Murray. I like Murray, but again, to me, it's got to be Barkley, and we're going to introduce our clash of the co-host segment right now, and we're going to each state our points because I think we have different opinions on this. I think it's Barkley, and it's 100%. He's going to grade out to be the top one, and you take him. It's Barkley.
Answer me how his right shoulder's doing right now.
Today?
Give me an answer.
How's it going to do by the combine? That's all I care about.
How is it?
Today, he might struggle to throw a can into a dumpster. I don't know. He's
so you're
hurt.
saying you want Alex Tanney?
Well, Alex Tanney's already a part of this team, and I don't think that. But I think Matt Barkley, just with the pedigree, the 4 years starting at USC. I hate to say this, but rarely injured up until a couple weeks ago. And he's going to be fine. He's going to be good to go by the combine. That's all that really matters. He's going to grade out to be the number one quarterback. The Chiefs are going to have the number one pick. So guess what, Noah? You take him. It's that easy.
I've got Aaron Murray. 3 straight years with 3,000 yards passing in the SEC. First quarterback to do that. Not even the great Peyton Manning could do that. I've got Tony Dungy's seal of approval, saying he works just as hard as Peyton Manning at his craft of being a quarterback. I'm trusting Tony Dungy. I'm trusting the hard work. I'm trusting the 3 straight years of 3,000 or more yards passing in the SEC, the number one conference in college football. I'm taking Aaron Murray, quarterback, Georgia.
I like your energy, and I think that was entertaining. I was entertained. But guess what I can't trust? The fact that he's going to be there for us to take anywhere past the first round. So you're taking a huge gamble. I mean, are you saying that you're now one of the guys, the Te'o, then try to get Murray in the second? Or are you saying
I'm
he's
saying
a
take
first-round
Murray number 1 overall.
Hey.
You take him, you ride with him, and you win a championship with him, ladies and gentlemen.
I think
That's
it's going to be
all
Barkley.
about.
I think it's got to be Barkley. But hey, I'll tell you what.
You want a Matt, number 7 from USC, on this team. No, thank you.
Hey, he's blonde-haired. He's the California guy. Like, come on, let's go. Hey, but I'll tell you what. If the pundits and if he grades out and Murray goes to the combine and he's graded out to be the number one quarterback, and my tune will change then. I can promise you that. I just want whoever they say is number one. That's it. Hey, golly to Betsy, I'll take Barkley in the first and I'll take Aaron Murray right in the second round. I'll let him battle for it. That's my dream scenario.
Murray's there in the second. I definitely take him.
God.
We can take Barkley number 1, but I just cannot go against Tony Dungy saying that this kid has the work ethic of Peyton Manning. If he's got that kind of work ethic in college, you got to get this guy on this team. He's got the heart, he's got the passion, he's got the love for it. You draft him and you succeed. This kid's going to be it all.
Well, no, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame are the number one team in the BCS. They're going to play for the championship. I'm feeling so nostalgic. It's 1988 all over again. I'm watching Rudy right now. The Irish are going to the BCS championship game, and most people seem to hate that.
Oh, we're talking football? I thought we were reviewing the movie Rudy. I was hoping that we were going to... I give it 2 thumbs up, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Best sports movie ever.
Yes.
I mean, Notre Dame gets in there with an offense that struggled all year. And a defense led by Manti Te'o that has just gotten it done. They've played in close games. They barely beat Pitt. They barely beat Stanford on a goal line stand, but they got it done. They went to USC, won in the Coliseum. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I think they have a shot against Georgia or Alabama.
I do too. I think they play like SEC teams play. Tough defense, a smart, heady quarterback. I like this Edric Golston. I think he's going to be a great quarterback.
Oh, absolutely. Going forward, he could be kind of a Braxton Miller type from Ohio State, I think, as his career progresses. But, man, it's unbelievable because Notre Dame is historically one of the greatest program in college football. They've been down for so many years, and, Jack, they are back. It feels kind of good. I've been to Notre Dame myself 3 different occasions. I've broke into the Notre Dame locker room. I have touched the Play Like a Champion Today sign. So I'll tell you what, I have a little more than some rooting interest in this. I like the fact that the Irish are back, and I really wish them well. And Alabama is a team I like too, and I think that's who's going to be there. It's going to be great for college football, though. The hype, can you imagine? The programs, Alabama, Notre Dame, you put that on a poster, it's going to sell like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior WrestleMania 6.
Yes, love the wrestling reference. Notre Dame, Alabama would be great. I'd actually kind of like to see Notre Dame and Georgia. I think it'd be a closer, more competitive game. You got Aaron Murray out there. You know he's my guy. I want to see him play. I want to see him win the championship, come to the NFL with all that, and lead this Kansas City Chiefs team.
Not bad. Hey, man, I tell you what, guys, it's been great today. We've been talking to Sean Salisbury. We've talked the NFL. We have talked college football. This is great. Guys, keep coming to the page. Keep liking it. Keep commenting. Keep sharing. All the things that you do on social media that you guys know what to do.
One thing I've got to say, a huge, gigantic congratulations to the Old Spice Classic champion, Gonzaga Bulldogs, the only 2-time champion of the Old Spice Classic, 2008-2012. They beat Davidson 81-67, and they are your champions, folks.
Hey, a lot of good stuff going on. We saw a lot of tournaments Illinois wins in Maui. Somehow they're not a good team. Missouri gets third out of their trip down to the Bahamas.
Beating a tough VCU team. I like that team. Missouri beat them without Dixon. I like that.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get Dixon back in there. Going to have to make some phone calls on that one. But, guys, until next time, the Outsiders Podcast, Clint Schweitzer, Noah Groniger, we love you, each and all. Have a good week. We will be previewing Chiefs and Panthers coming up. I know you're riveted.
Yes, thanks for listening.